Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review of VH1's Family Reunion, Love and Hip Hop Edition, Season 2, Episode 5, called Home is Where the Family Is. So, starting off, because we get right into everything that be going on in here. So anyway, we start off with Mimi. She pulls Jonathan and Sin to the side to try to convince them to stay. I guess they stay the night because it was during the daytime or whatnot. So well, was this the night before? I don't know. I think it was the next morning. But anywho, she said in the confessional she's gonna try to make them stay or convince them to stay. But she didn't really do much convincing other than just telling Jonathan, you need to talk to Erica. And he's just in the moment like there's nothing really to talk to her about because she's trying to picture him as a bad person, as a racist, and he's not that and all that stuff. So he's not trying to do none of that. So, he's just gonna leave. Since like if he's leaving, she leaving too. Mimi's just saying she understands and all that stuff. So I'm like, Mimi, you're not really doing much convincing here. You're not even saying nothing really. You're just listening to what they have to say, which is, yes, that's good to listen to what they have to say, but I'm surprised she didn't say nothing in response to that other than like, you gotta do what you gotta do. I understand. But we move on to Safari. I guess he asked Joel's to come work out with him in the gym because he wants to talk with him about Joel's relationship with Kimbella because they seem to be doing great. So he wants to know how to get to that point. And I'm just like, well, first off, Safari, you are not Joel's. And Erica is not Kimbella. So you will never be like them. Everybody is their each individual person. And every relationship is their each individual relationship. Stop trying to be like Joel's and Kimbella because I'm pretty sure they had their issues back in the day. And you and Erica got a lot of issues. But the thing is, it just depends who wants to work it out and who's willing to be an adult, which you and Erica are still, I guess, trying to figure out. And y'all need to figure that out first before you figure out how you're going to make this relationship work. But Joel's just told him because he asked them, and Joel's was just like, you have to try to figure it out together. And I'm just like, Joel's, that's not really much advice, but at the same time, what else is Joel's gonna say? This is Safari we talking about. So Safari then starts talking about how he was feeling a little bit some type of way the night before of Erica kissing Amina, making out with her with the whipped cream and all that shit, looking very messy and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna need a shower after this. But so he was just like, F it, if you're gonna be making out with her at the party and whatnot, so might as well just invite her up to the room with us. So I guess Erica felt some type of way about that, but he was like, it goes both ways because if he would have done that, it would have been a problem. And I'm like, makes sense. You got a point, but at the same time, it just depends on what you allow in the relationship or what you don't allow in the relationship. Did you tell Erica you don't be liking when she do that? Because I don't know why in my head I feel like y'all probably did some freaky shit like that in the past where she invited a girl to the bedroom and you was probably fine with it because you just felt like, oh, that's another girl to look at or something. I don't know if it was to the point where you were actually performing sexual relations with that girl, but I feel like they invited the girl to the bedroom. I don't know why. They both freaks. So I feel like a girl got invited, but probably never did no penetration between Safari and that girl. Just mainly, maybe, if anything, making out or something. I don't know. But listen, y'all just got to figure out what y'all want to do. Like Joel said, y'all just need to figure that out together. What y'all want to do with each other in the relationship and set whatever boundaries you need to set. What are deal breakers and whatnot. So Safari, that, maybe with somebody else, I would probably be looking at it as, okay, I can understand it. But with this one, it's like I could understand it, but at the same time, I'm not trying to talk about y'all too much longer than I have to. So that's that. And all he said after that was he got a reggae event that he's going to do, and it's going to be at the beach, just like I feel like 80% of the events of the season. So we move on to Mimi and Shekanah. They're talking. They're like riding a bike thing. And Shekanah's talking about Erica and Safari and how Erica needs to calm down. And she didn't say this word for word. I'm just paraphrasing, but how her and Safari are always hot and cold. And I'm just like, what else is new, Shekanah? Can we talk about something? What's going on with you, Shekanah? You talking about everybody else. What's going on with you? well, Shade Room already told me what's going on with you present day, but why don't we talk about you and what you got going on and not whatever everyone else got going on, Chicana? Because we're literally hearing about everybody else. Everybody's talking about their own little personal lives that they got going on. But we ain't hearing nothing about you and what you got going on personally. So we move on to Jonathan and Sin. And I guess, like I said, they decided to stay for the night. So Sin's not saying nothing about if they're leaving or not, other than that, if he leaves, she leaves. But Jonathan is explaining they're still leaving, but they decided to, I guess, tie up loose ends, so to speak, first. And I guess they're sitting with a few people outside on a patio table and whatnot. And I guess they, with Creep Squad, Mimi, Yo Yo, and Booby, Jonathan and Sin. And they're asking Sin what's the issue with Cisco, because Creep Squad excluding Cisco. And she explains what happens and, of course, explain how Cisco feeling some type of way about Booby. Booby looking like, wait, hold up. Booby saying he confused because he's like, I just start talking to Sin, and she never told me the situation. Well, maybe I should talk slow like how Booby be talking about. She never told me about what she got going on with Cisco. So, if he wanna get at me, he could come talk to me. Booby, listen, you chill guy, don't even go to that point. Like we don't need you doing nothing. Like leave it for Love and Hip Hop New York at this point. You could talk to Sin, that's cool, whatever. Cisco, it's not even worth it, because Cisco got his own things going. Cisco trying to figure himself out, so he just trying to have an issue with everybody, just to have an issue with everybody. So don't even entertain it, Booby. You a chill guy. Listen, just keep being chillax, and that's it. We don't need no. I don't need no hype, Booby. Okay, so then we get to Mimi telling Jonathan she still thinks he should talk to Erica. He doesn't really say yes or no, but kind of explains how Jonathan's feeling. And Rich and Peter was just like, you're not no racist, man, we know that. And Jonathan's still kind of like on the fence, like, I don't know, I don't need that disruption going on in my life. I'm already disturbed at this point. I'm like, okay, but you're still here, Jonathan, so like what you gonna do? But he never says if he's gonna talk to her or not. And then we move on to the reggae day. So everyone's on the bus, heading over to the beach because they can't do the reggae at the resort. But the only people are missing is Sin and Jonathan. I don't know if it was Shekana who said something to Erica, but Erica first done said like, oh yeah, they crying by the pool. And I'm just like, Erica, please stop talking. Please stop talking. I think it was Shekana and saying, you don't want to talk to them or convince them to come and stuff. And Erica was like, there's nobody else I gotta apologize. The only person that I'm gonna apologize to, or that I owe an apology, is to Kim. And then she's like, for the shit that happened like 20 years ago. And it was like, no, bitch, it was 10. But they show the recap of 10 years ago, Love and Hip Hop New York, when Kimbella and Erica got into it and they fought and shit. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's been 10 years. I've been watching this shit for 10 years. Plus, probably. Yeah. It's been that long. But, so it goes to commercial for dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial. Kimbella with her big ass getting up and it's just like, Erica. And then, walks over to where Erica was and sits in front of her. And I guess that's when Erica did the formal apology, saying she misunderstood whatever the situation was back then. I don't remember. I remember watching the episode, but I don't remember exactly what the issue was. But I guess they decided to come together. They make up, they hug. Did they do anything else? And she was just like, because they both have daughters, so she doesn't want to have issues with females and trying to raise her daughter to kind of grow in that way as well. Kimbella's saying in the confessional that, Erica having kids, is helping her mature her and all that stuff. And I'm like, not really, Cabela. I see what you're trying to do here, Cabela, but not really. Erica still got a lot of growing to do, got a lot of learning to do, got a lot of maturity to be doing, as well as Safari. And Shekinah saying in the confessional was like, okay, she done apologized to Cabela, but where's Sin's apology at? And Jonathan's. And I'm like, exactly, Shekinah. You talking about everybody, but you make sense in some of the things you say. So, like I said, I'm not trying to focus too much on Erica Safari, but it looks like they doing this family reunion just like they did Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, where they're going to try to take up and milk as much time, camera time and stuff and topics as they can without trying to do it at the same time. So, we move on. They get to the beach for the reggae day. Safari explains the Jamaican flag and what the colors mean on the flag. And he got the food, of course, the classic Jamaican food. It looks so good. I'm so hungry and I haven't ate since lunch. So you already know after this, I'm about to figure out what to eat for dinner. So we get to Jonathan and Sin, and they're back at the hotel. Jonathan's lysoling the hell out of the room. Sin's on the phone and whatnot, like telling Jonathan to get out with all this BS. Jonathan talking in the confessional again about, they were thinking about going, but they decided to stay. Jonathan's reasoning and excuse is because he invited Stevie J, and Stevie J is about to come for the, that day. And he's like, who would he be if he were to just leave? And not Safari, but Stevie J comes and, he's not there. And he's the one that invited Stevie J. And I'm just like, all right, Jonathan, I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make an excuse, but it's not excusing you of staying. You staying probably for the check, probably just to show face, but it's not because of Stevie J. You just staying to complete your contractual obligation to the show, and that's fine. If you're doing, that's fine. I understand you're doing it for money. And honestly, if I was in that situation, I might stay for the money too. That's a check at the end of the day. So, if you want to use Stevie J's excuse, I guess, but it's not hitting what it was supposed to hit. I just, Sin, she not even talking. You doing more of the talking, Jonathan, than Sin. And Sin is not even saying nothing to us. She ain't even doing that much confessionals. You the one who telling us about, you staying and not going. Jonathan, stop it. You staying. At the end of the day, you staying. Okay? We move on to Rich and Peter at the reggae party fest. And they're watching Cisco walk around drinking. He drunk. Rich said he's getting sauce. No, Rich, he's not getting sauce. He's sauced. He's sauced. Sauced like last night's sauce. I don't know. But he's sauced. Cisco walks up to Rich and Peter. Rich slaps the drink out of his hand. Cisco is just like, what you do that for? And Rich is just like telling him to stop drinking. This is where it goes back and forth from this scene to Shekinah and them. So we get to Shekinah and them, and she calls out Erica because Shekinah, Brooke, Erica, Mimi are sitting, I think even Yo-Yo too, are sitting on the sand or whatnot. So Shekinah calls out Erica, saying that Erica got her nerves bad with all this shit that she got going on between her and Sin. Then Brooke says in a confessional that she thinks Shekinah needs some D. And I'm just like, you worried about everybody getting some D, Brooke. I hope you getting some D. And I feel like you and Marcus, you are getting some D, but listen, you worried about D too much. Now, granted, does Shekinah need some D? Probably. Yes. Yes, I can concur. Yes, she probably needs or orgasm or two. However, Brooke, stay out of this, girl. You've been doing great. Just leave it alone. Leave the messiness for Shekinah. That's what she gonna do. Shekinah, same difference. Let her do what she do best. Okay, you just stay there looking cute, girl, and saying what you need to say when it comes to giving good advice, I guess. But as far as for the mess, leave it for Shekinah. So then here goes Bobby trying to interject. Bobby just interject every fucking thing. Bobby's trying to get his 10 minutes, well, not even 10 minutes of fame, because I mean, he is famous at this point. But Bobby trying to get as much screen time as he can too. So he comes over, he's just like, oh, what's going on? And then, because I guess Erica was trying to explain, like, it's nothing. It is what it is. Bobby comes over. She kind of just like, what you want, Pinky? And Bobby's just like, well, you make all this damn noise, so that's why I came over here to see what was going on. So then Erica gets up and she's like, I'm not. She's annoyed. She's like, I'm not gonna be doing this now. I'm done. You get to stay over there with your Whoopi Goldberg looking ass. And I'm just like, oh damn, Erica, out. Listen, for me, with my sensitive whore, I could not take that joke. But she kind of let it roll off her shoulders. But I'm just like, you better than me, Shekinah, because I would have felt some type of way. Hort. I would have felt some type of way. But it is what it is. Shekinah just calls Erica a wicked witch and tells everyone that she's gonna do a self-healing thing for her event for that night. And Erica was just telling her that she needs to heal herself first. So I done skip through so much. I'm a reverse real quick. Okay, so after she done walked away, we get back over to Rich, Peter, Creep Squad. We get back over to Creep Squad, and pretty much Rich is calling Cisco saucy and telling him about what happened the night before, because I guess Cisco doesn't remember what the hell he done talked to Sin about the night before. So Cisco was just like, oh man, it was a bad night, man. I don't know. And I guess in the confessional, Cisco still wants to fix the issue he got with Sin. And I'm just like, I mean, I guess Cisco by this point, it's been 5 years. Let it go. If anything, if you don't have any conversation with Sin, just apologize for what happened. And hopefully you guys can move forward. Maybe not the best of friends, but cordial. But he wants to have a conversation. I'm just like, well, let's see if Sin has another conversation with you. But we get to where I said Shekinah was talking about she's going to do the self-healing class and whatnot. And Erica says she needs to do self-healing herself. And that's when Shekinah called her the Wicked Witch. And then it goes to commercial for dramatic effect, because it looked like Erica was about to run up on Shekinah. But then when we get back from commercial break for dramatic effect, Erica just jumps on Shekinah and just humps on her. And I'm just like, this is what the preview showed for us, thinking like they was about to get into it, and really they just like a love-hate relationship, like they make picking on each other, but in all actuality it's really love behind all that. Okay, whatever. So, excuse me. Shekinah says she might forget Freddy Krueger. And who's Freddy Krueger? Peter Gunn's ass. And I just shook my head at that point. But that's when Safari flies the kite and explains the significance of the flying the kite. And so they all fly kites as an activity. And then Safari performs. And that's the end of the Reggae Fest. Or the Reggae Day. So the crew gets back from the Reggae Day. And who is in the pool by himself with a pink flamingo floaty, none other than Stevie J himself. And I'm just like, it's been a long time. I'm excited to see Stevie J, because he did bring memorable moments for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. However, I don't know. I guess it's just because everybody's getting older. Everyone's doing their own thing. It's just like, it's not like how it used to be. It's not the ignorance that used to be Love and Hip Hop. Now it's like, this is a reunion, so even though there's still drama, I just personally feel like it's lackluster, so to speak. Not that I really want the drama, but just the craziness of it all. So this is not, it's okay, but I'm just like, y'all too old for this shit. This is stupid. Granted, they was probably too old for it years ago, but at least they were younger and more entertaining. But now it's like, you guys are You guys are older, just plain Jane, Mary Jane, all that. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'm still gonna watch it. Don't get me wrong, I'm still watching, and I'm still gonna keep watching as long as they keep showing. But it's just like, y'all too old for this. Where the younger folks at? Let's see what they got going on. But anywho, everybody's happy to see him for the most part, and they give him dapper hugs and whatnot. And Stevie J, lets us know in the confessional that he is the one that filed for divorce with him and Faith. And I'm just like, we don't care. I don't care who filed for divorce. Y'all getting divorced at the end of the day. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. I was surprised that y'all even got together in the first place and got married in the second place. So I'm just surprised it lasted as long as it did. But thank you, Stevie J, for letting us know. He hugs Mimi, hugs Erica, and even, tells her like, oh, congratulations on the baby. And she says thank you. Seems like they're cool, even though I guess they had beef way back when. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Like I said, I've watched it all. I've watched every season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I've watched every season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. I've watched every season of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Have not watched every season of Love and Hip Hop New York. Maybe the first season or the second season, when Jim and Chrissy was still there. But ever since they left, I haven't watched it. So I remember quite a few things, but I don't remember everything. So I guess they had beef and the reunion and whatnot. And they all sit on the beach. I'm not the beach. Oh my gosh. I'm ready to go eat. But they all sit on the edge of the pool with their feet in the water. Shekan'a swimming under the water, got her weave wet. Erica was just like, oh, you wetting a weave? And she's like, yeah, I am. So, okay. And Bobby getting with his little pink tidy whities and whatnot, showing his ass and whatever. I'm like, all right, Bobby, we see you got ass. Congratulations. I'm still trying to work on mine. Thank you, but all right. But, so it goes to commercial, comes back from commercial, and they're still by the pool and chilling by the pool, in and out of the pool. Shekan'a asks Stevie, you gonna apologize? Have you ever apologized to Mimi? So I guess he was starting to apologize to Mimi, but then Bobby interjected. Then he was like, I got this. Because like I said, Bobby just interjects everything. And Shekan'a always got something to say about somebody but herself. So I'm just like, can we be done with this scene? And he finishes apologizing. Everybody claps for him and whatnot. So dramatic. But Mimi pretty much in the confessional was just like, she gonna believe him when she sees it. So she don't really believe he's sorry and stuff, because like he says one thing today, but he don't really put nothing back. He doesn't support that apology. So I'm like, Mimi, well, that's your baby daddy. You chose that guy. So at this point, is congratulations. I don't know. And we move on to Creep Squad. They're playing ping pong. Sid and Jonathan show up, and I guess Creep Squad is happy that they decided to stay, because that's when Jonathan lets us know in the confessional that they staying. Sid's still not telling her shit, because she's just like, it is whatever he does. He stays, I'm staying. If he goes, I'm going. So that's when Jonathan officially lets us know he's staying for the rest of the reunion. Thank you, Jonathan. We already knew you were staying from the moment you stayed that night. So anywho, we get to the little snippets. Bobby's asking Zell, is he gonna talk to Jonathan, because Bobby's just not liking this energy, the tension. And I'm like, Bobby, but you just love talking about any and everything. So either if there wasn't tension, you was gonna make some tension. I still love you, Bobby, but like, stop. Zell's just like, listen, Jonathan always got a story, he don't play no instruments, but all I hear is violins when he be talking. And I'm just like, granted, I can see what you're saying, Zell, but at the same time, it's really an issue with you. Kind of for Erica too, because she want to say something, she want to be part of the black crew, but she not even black. But, that's another conversation for last week. And so I can see what you're trying to say, Zell, but that's really in pertaining to you and what you done told him on the bus for the field day event. So I'm just like, I'm not going to talk about y'all too much more either. But we see Booby finally talking to Sin again, and we see Bobby as him and Zell are walking away. He kept looking back, and I'm like, y'all, I don't know how much Bobby trying to tell the producers to keep recording him because he's gonna keep looking sneaky and stuff. But I'm just like, we did not need to see Bobby watching them walk as they talk and he's walking away. We know Bobby gonna be every and anywhere the camera is pointing. So thank you, producers, for showing us so much of Bobby, and I bet Bobby's just loving it. But I'm just like, I love Bobby, but I don't need to see him in every scene. I forgot what Sin and Booby were talking about. It really doesn't matter at this point, so I'm just gonna move on. We get to the self-healing event bonfire thingamajig that Shekinah has set up. So I guess this is for healing and for apologies. So Shekinah is doing an apology spree. Apologizes to Freddy Krueger, Peter Guns, and eventually says, I'm sorry, Peter. First she said Freddy Krueger, but then she said to Peter. And he apologizes too because he said some things too that first night. Then Shekinah apologizes to Safari. Safari said he's used to it, and I'm just like, I'm sure you are, Safari. I'm sure you are. Then she apologizes to Cisco. She explains, she didn't like how he was. She still don't really like what he be doing and stuff, but she still apologizes nonetheless. Cisco was just like, what she was explaining of what he done did was a lie. Sin was just like, oh, what did she say? Oh, Sin was just like, so then what happened then? What happened then? What was the lie? He doesn't answer her and just accepts Shekinah's apology and was just like, he feels so much better. And I'm like, no, you don't. And who did she apologize to? Someone else? Nope, that was it. So then she opens the floor for everybody else to see if anybody else wants to apologize to somebody and whatnot. So then we get to Zell. He apologizes to Mimi. I guess Mimi was the one who kind of brought him up in this industry world type of thing, and I guess he done shat on her and all that shit. And so, he's grown up a lot, and he just, wants to apologizes for shitting on her pretty much, and even cries because then he goes into how he was homeless for a moment, and I guess Bobby was looking like he didn't know if he wanted to like console him or not. I'm just like, Bobby, just sit there, just sit there. But Mimi appreciates it. She gets up, gives him a hug. I thought that was cute. And then Sin gets up to apologize to everyone for her actions and the energy that she was bringing the night before because of what was happening. But Zell explained, like, you thought everybody was coming for you, but we was actually trying to defend you. So Sin, appreciated that. And she was trying to explain something. But then that's when Erica walked in saying, hi, Shekinah. And then Shekinah was just like, got up and like was telling Erica to leave. And I'm just like, okay, is there beef now? Goes to commercial for dramatic effect, comes back. No, ain't no beef, ain't no drama. She just like, you're not gonna be coming in here an hour late. And then that's when Erica was like, I'm tired. I'm a new mom, guys. I have a newborn. Is your newborn even there, Erica? Is it even there? No. If it's not there, I want to hear it. If the baby ain't with you, Erica, I don't want to hear it. So she goes, sits on the opposite side of Safari. So I guess they got beef again. We're going to see they have beef next week. But I'm like, okay, I guess they got beef again now for some odd reason, whatever. But because Sin was in the middle of talking when all that was happening, Sin just sat down. She's like, okay, I'm done. I wasn't done with what I was saying, but I'm done. So then Brooke in the confessional, she's just like, oh, here we go. I wanted to hear what Sin had to say, but because Erica being Erica had to make it about her, she didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. I couldn't hear what Sin had to say, and I really wanted to see what she had to say. So before they get into the next activity, no, I think it was after. Okay. So Shekinah does an activity where everybody writes what they want to manifest in their life, what they want to happen to them in their life. Not to focus on the past, but on the future. So everybody writes it down, and then each one gets up individually, says what they want to happen in their future, then drops the note in the bonfire to see it float up as it burns away. So I can't tell you what everybody said word for word. Shekinah wants love, pretty much. Bobby wants to be happy. Mimi wants everyone to have peace. I think, did Bobby say something? He said he wrote 5 things down, but I think he said happiness. Rich wants, I think, happiness for everybody and wants the best for everybody. I forgot what Cindan said. Zell said he wants a wife and kids, and he talks in the confessional like that's something he's always wanted in his whole entire life. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, Zell, but just make sure you want a wife and kids, not just to. What did I say? What did I say like weeks ago? I just hope he wants it for the right reasons. At the end of the day, that's all. If you want it for the right reasons because you really want to truly grow and build with a wife and procreate and have kids, then okay. But if you're just doing this just to look good in the public eye or, not to be gay, then it's like you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So, a beard, pretty much. If you want to be a beard, if that's what you're trying to be, to just hide and cover up, then that's something different. But he got to figure that out on his own. I don't remember what anybody else done said, but pretty much after that, Shekinah brings up Erica and Sin. Erica's annoyed, pretty much. Because she kind of just wants everybody to just be cool on one accord, and it's just like that's nice and all, Shekinah, but that's not gonna happen, especially not with the Love and Hip Hop cast. And Erica, she's just done. Erica's still denying the IG account. Sin is just saying she still don't F with Erica like that, and that's that. And that's where the episode ends. Next week, Safari cheating again. I don't know. He done send some girl some IG model flowers and shit, and Erica's upset and asking me like, stop trying to defend him, and he did this to me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, break up, because I'm over it. I'm really over it. But of course, we gotta talk about Erica and Safari again next week, and they must love this. But after this, can we retire Erica and Safari? I do not need this in 2022. Please, next to Love and Hip Hop you bring, I don't need to see Erica and Safari nowhere near that season. Is it gonna be Hollywood? I think. Leave them out. Leave them out. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the view. Please let me know if you have any comments. There's not really nothing to comment on because we see it's always about Erica, Safari, or Bobby. But let me know. I look forward to seeing it. And I'll see you for the next episode next week, next Tuesday. And then for those that watch Married at First Sight, I'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks. Bye.